Sri Juta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Shagrajatam Shahagana Raghunathanvitam Tang Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Dev Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanitanscha Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Sri Gadadhar Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Say all of you. Sri Krishna
Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda
Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Again, Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Offering my most respectful obeisances unto His Divine Grace, Guru Maharaj is Bhakti Rakshak Siddhara Deva Goswami, none different from him. His Divine Grace is Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada Ji Maharaj, none different from him. Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj. I humbly praying for their blessings to be bestowed upon me and all of you. And thereafter, offer my most respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet, Paramahamsa Kula Churamani, Acharya Bhaskar, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur Srila Prabhupada. And humbly praying for His grace, mercy, be bestowed upon this humble servitor, upon all of you. All glories to Jagat Guru Srila Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. All glories to all our Guru Varga, Vaishnava Vrinda. All glories to Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, along with, surrounded by all his loved associates. All glories to the assembled devotees, beautiful hearts. All glories to our pilgrimage to, holy pilgrimage to 2026. In this Himalayan holy places, to the holy places in the Himalayan region. So, I just instinctively feel like saying few words regarding the criteria of pilgrimage to. See, the very nature, definition of any holy pilgrimage tour is never just sightseeing, never just, oh, beautiful, great sightseeing, the way the materialistic people take it. It's actually much more than that. Much more than just materially appreciated, beautiful sightseeing. It is actually our gesture, our expressions through our holy activities to show respect, to extend our hearty respects, loving appreciation to those holy places in connection with the Supreme Divine. Then it becomes really successful, at least relatively fulfilled. The purpose of our holy pilgrimage tour becomes successful and fulfilled. So therefore, faithful temperament, appreciative temperament, attitude, mood, befitting for having holy pilgrimage tour while having pilgrimage tour is a necessity, very much necessary. In other words, we all need to be attuned with the mood of holy pilgrimage tour. Paying respect and obeisance, paying our loving respect to all those holy places in connection with the Supreme Divine, and thereby directly paying our loving respect, devotional respect to the Supreme Absolute Divine. Our beautifully powerful and affectionate Lord, merciful Lord Krishna. So that is the conception of pilgrimage tour. When we are properly attuned with the mode of pilgrimage tour, holy pilgrimage, then we actually receive much spiritual merits from that. Instead of just only material satisfaction and happiness and enjoyment, we do receive higher spiritual merits from that. So attunement of the wanting has to be proper. Wanting, our pure wanting has got power in itself. When we are deeply wanting for something, yearning for something, deeply hankering for something, then it creates a scope of positively negative scope like thirst, like hunger, to receive more spiritual merit, because we want. Because we create that scope, in the language of Guru Maharaj, positively negative scope, to attract the positive towards us in our life. It's a part of cultivation. It's a great foundational part of real spiritual cultivation of life divine. That we have to learn how to be wanting, befitting to the life divine life. Then, in response to that wanting, by the attraction of that wanting, yearning, that relevant spiritual wealth, merit comes in our life. Wanting means attracting the positive spiritual wealth into our life. If we just remain negatively thirstless, negatively satisfied, I don't want anything more, Oh, I am just satisfied. I am lazily contented, lazily satisfied. I don't want anything more. I become so casual. Then I don't deserve to receive more. I don't deserve to receive more. The feelings of positive satisfaction, non-lazy satisfaction, very reasonable, profitable satisfaction is different from the lazy, easily made, very lazy, casual, kind of satisfaction that is of negative nature, lower nature. So there are also a great deal of differences between the nature of satisfaction. See, when we become very lazy, lifeless, we don't have any want. I don't have any want or any desire because I'm basically getting lifeless. I'm satisfied, so-called peace. I'm peaceful in so-called way. Peaceful in a so-called way, satisfied in a so-called way. Like in a coma stage, no one. There is negative satisfaction of negative nature. Sometimes people may make mistake. People may make mistake. They may look alike. Satisfaction of negative nature and satisfaction of high positive nature. There is a great deal of difference between the characters of these two kinds of satisfaction. Devotees follow and embrace the second kind of satisfaction. It is highly, positively, powerful, full of positive wanting. Positively wanting and hankering, but with humility, without false pride. Begging for the higher divine grace from the Supreme Divine Lord, also in a graceful, humble way. Not demanding, not a claimful demanding, but in a more gracious, tender, lovingly requesting, yearning way, lovingly yearning. That's the way of wanting about the higher subjective wealth, super subjective wealth, transcendental wealth, and satisfaction of life. So back to the point for this, in this holy pilgrimage too, we need to be consciously wanting to feel, constantly wanting to receive some spiritual merits. I repeat, in this our holy pilgrimage tour, we need to be consciously wanting and hankering, really desiring for some higher spiritual merits and blessings from the Supreme Divine, manifesting through the holy places, visibly, invisibly, mostly invisibly, subtle spiritual way, connecting to that frequency and receive our spiritual merits, divine merits. Some grace. Then this pilgrimage tour will be more satisfying, at least relatively complete. The cultivation of befitting mood, attunement to connect to these holy places in relation to the Supreme Holy Divine Lord, very much needed, necessary. See, Tirtha Parjatanam, having pilgrimage tour, traveling over the holy places, has been glorified by certain holy scriptures as one of the limbs of the cultivation of devotional life divine. There are different limbs, there are many limbs of cultivating the life of devotion to the Lord. Having holy pilgrimage too is one of them. In the association of sadhus with sankirtan, and we say, there is a saying in our traditional way, sadhu sange sankirtan mukhe parikrama. Parikrama is circumambulations. Circumambulations around the holy places under the guidance of sadhu, in the holy association of the sadhus, while engaged in sankirtan. I repeat. Having the holy pilgrimage tour in the holy association of the pure sadhus, filled with sankirtan activity. Sadhu sange sankirtan. Then our pilgrimage tour is properly done. Then our connecting to all the holy places during pilgrimage becomes properly established, properly received. Because the very nature of most of the holy places, during our pilgrimage is actually connected with the sankirtan activity and the inhabitation of the sadhus, isn't it? Those holy places cannot be holy places without the pure sadhus, pure devotees of the Supreme Divine Lord be living there and engaged in narrating, describing, singing the glories of that Supreme Lord. In other words, all the holy places become holy places. All the holy places actually become holified holy places by the association and living of the pure sadhus, pure saintly devotees of the Supreme Divine, and in connection with their engagement in singing the glories of the Supreme Divine in their devotional practices. That's how the holy places are created or manifested. So therefore, during our pilgrimage too, we must be maintaining this character of viewing, relating to all the holy places in the holy association of the sadhus and while engaged in sankirtan activity. Chanting, singing the glories. Be absorbed. Absorbing and be absorbed in the narration and singing the glories of the Supreme Divine, beautiful, absolute truth. Sadhu Sangha Krishna Nama Sadhu Naika Nischaya. Good. One of the lines of Premadhama Deva Stotra, Guru Maharaj points out, Sadhu Sangha Krishna Nama Sadhu Naika Nischaya. Chanting or singing the holy names of Krishna, devotional love songs of Krishna Radhika, in the associations of the sadhus, actually assures our true development. All the great cultivations of devotional life, pure devotional life, life of love with Krishna. So, assurance is given. While a devotee is engaged in cultivating the life divine, life of pure devotional, life of pure devotion, in the holy association of the sadhus, being engaged in Krishna Nama Sankirtan, engaged in singing love songs or Krishna Radhika, the fulfillment in such sadhana is assured. See, being absorbed, not just engaged. See, being so much absorbed, immersed in chanting, singing the beautiful holy names, meaningful holy names of the Supreme Lord, Supreme God and Goddess. And continuing to be inundated, immersed with that great divine experience is actually a great living way of the sadhana, the very living way of the sadhana. I give you some mundane examples. See, in the programs of Michael Jackson, or other, so many people are madly overwhelmed. They're crying, laughing, enjoying. They're absorbed into all that. Automatically absorbed because they love something. The mind, heart, all engaged, absorbed. In a similar way, not same way. It's a mundane example, not only Michael Jackson, but similar souls like that. Famously known as great musicians. He became Krishna devotee, George Harrison. He was also famous at his time, George Harrison, but he was very lucky. He became so lucky and fortunate to become Krishna devotee, to come in connection with Krishna by the grace of Swami Prabhupada. Everybody doesn't become that much lucky. So in those programs, in those great programs of great musicians, people not only participate formally, but they are into it. They're absorbed into it. Living kind of sadhana. A similar way, pure devotees become more overwhelmingly absorbed in chanting, singing holy names, love songs of Krishna Radhika, no less than those people. I'm simply using this mundane example to give you all the idea what kind of absorption should be. So the pure devotees, pure devoted lovers of Krishna Radhika, so become similarly but transcendentally absorbed into the ecstatic feelings, become so overwhelmed with blissful feelings, beloved experience of their life, while they are engaged, chanting, singing the holy names of their beloved divine God and Goddess, beloved divine in He form, C form, Supreme He and Supreme C form. And they have so much taste in singing those love songs. With the flow of their musical melodies of their own loving devotion to the Supreme Divine Beloved. And they become so much immersed, overwhelmed, inundated with the nectarine blissful experience, divinely blissful experience in that state. That is the higher conception, proper, real conception of the living sankirtan. Much more than formality, formal ways, casual, technical ways. They are good. Engaging in formal ways of sankirtan, engaging in sankirtana in a more technical, rulistic, disciplined manner is good. But it's not better or best. The better version, conception of the sankirtan, the best, is this what I have just explained. Krishna, Radhe, Krishna. They are different dynamic. They are different practically working, befitting ways to relate to the Supreme Divine. We cannot but feel great happiness in doing that. When chanting the same chanting or singing the same holy names, not working in the life of the same devotees, because it gets too formal, feeling monotonous because the devotees cannot dive deep into that world. So devotees can be, but devotee is very sincere. In that case, devotees can be very open-minded, not offensively open-minded, lovingly open-minded in relation to Krishna, to find out some other ways through which feel love for Krishna, love for Radhika, which are working for them. There are also good practical parts of this sadhana. I found few devotees who could not relate much to chanting of all the holy names because it became too formal and too habitual, too familiar kind of, because they could not dive deep inside the world of the taste. But they were relishing to see a movie on Krishna. Relishing, okay, they are really appreciating to see a movie on Krishna. Krishna Leela, Vrindavana Leela, Ramchandra, Sita and Rama's wedding. Sita Ramachandra's wedding, a movie on that, a movie on Krishna Leela. They are deriving much happiness and some pleasure to relate to Krishna in that way. And these songs, beautiful songs there. Filled with beautiful melodious songs on Krishna Leela, Rasa Leela. Devotees are very attracted to that, deriving happiness. And I said, this is your way, do that. This is your befitting way of sadhana. Because you connect to Krishna, Radhika, in this way. Something you are very much appreciating, adoring, taking so much happiness. Through the love songs, melodies, composition, Radha Krishna Leela with Braja Gopis. That will be more live devotional. You are doing it with some living devotional taste. This is your befitting, good. This is your befitting way. Okay, a practical way to engage in sadhana. Working for you, working out for you. Some devotees say, we cannot derive much taste from the chanting of the holy names. It doesn't work out. But we want to engage. We love to engage in some service, devotional service. Any service available. More tangible, more relate. That is your befitting way to do sadhana. More than chanting holy names in the first place, in the foundational level. Engage in some devotional service. Be engaging in some love services to the divine couple, Mahaprabhu, Nityananda. Any specific type of love service you want to do, receive permission, be permitted by Srila Gurudev, take the gracious permission and be engaged in that kind of services. That is very valid. One of the most valid aspects of doing sadhana. And that your engagement in loving service to the Lord, your engaging in loving service to the Lord will ultimately at some point bring you to the taste of chanting and taking the holy names at some point. It cannot but happen. Cannot but happen. I am explaining in this way doesn't mean, we don't need to be chanting. We don't need to be chanting or singing holy names. It's not important, Maharaj is saying. Just engage in some loving service, ignoring chanting and singing holy names. Not that. All I'm saying, we also have got some freedom. Devotees, Krishna devotees also have got some freedom to find out which ways of the sadhana are working for them as best, practically working as best in a more tasteful way, rather than habitual, familiar, boring, meaningless way. That's what I mean. It is simply somewhat like this, the example I'm going to give. When somebody comes to you, someone comes to you and mention any people's name, anybody's name. Such and such people, he was known by this name. Okay? The people of this and that name. Did you hear their names? You don't take any interest. Hearing some names of the people, maybe connected with that person, but you don't know anything. So you have nothing to do with it. You don't feel any relation. So I repeat, when somebody comes before you and simply tells you some names of their friends, people you do not have any relation with, it's just some names you don't feel anything about. Right. But when you have a love relationship with a particular person, cultivate love relation with a particular person, you have loving, blissful, great, tasteful relationship with a particular person or persons. As soon as someone mentions their names to you, you relate to that name, connect to that name so meaningfully, lovingly. Immediately some image of love for that beloved person comes in your mind. So it's not just anyone's name. It's not just any name, or just dry, formal name, nothing to do with. That name becomes so meaningful to you because you have love relationship with that person. The name no more remains dry. The simple mention of the names of the beloved persons never remain to that other beloved as dry or formal, so meaningful. The face becomes so happy. Face becomes brightened upon hearing the name of the beloved. Immediately takes interest. Oh, how is he doing? How she is doing? When he or she is going to come? When we are going to meet? What did he or she tell you about me? So taking interest. In a similar way, when we are able to build up, at least cultivate some foundational love relationship with the Supreme Lord, a Supreme Beloved, through rendering, offering our loving service to him or her, cultivating some relation, beautiful relation with the Supreme He or Supreme She. Then, thereafter, when you chant or sing His or her holy name, that holy name never remains as just some formal or casual or boring names. They become alive with taste, love taste. It becomes chanting of those holy names on that stage becomes singing of the holy names. Like the way walking steps become converted, transformed into dancing steps on the plain of Goloka. Mere talks become transformed into ways of singing. Talking to each other the ways of talking to each other often becomes converted into the ways of singing. They're singing to each other. So blissful. Because their ways are so happy and blissful. Mere way of talking is not enough. Automatically becomes converted into singing to each other. They are transcendental experience. We cannot be fully understanding about all these with our non-transcendental, limited abilities, limited conceptions. That's why they are so distinct. That's why those transcendental, divine, ambrosial experiences are so different and distinct from that of similar type of mundane happy experience, mundanely pleasing experience. So that's what I mean. Cultivation of love relationship, devotional love relationship with the Supreme Divine God and Goddess, very required. Trying to consciously cultivate consciously be cultivating a love relationship with the Supreme, divine couple is very much required. To also feel taste, so much taste in simply chanting and singing their holy names. Each of them is a world of the meanings, nectarine meanings. Holy names are not just some total of some words or sounds. Each of them is filled with so much nectarine, divine, blissful meanings. I repeat, I feel like repeating. Each of them is filled with divine, nectarine meanings. Fulfilling, so fulfilling to the heart and soul. That is the real quality of the chanting, the holy names, singing the holy names, singing the love songs for Krishna Radhika. And that's what actually manifested during the lifetime of Mahaprabhu, in the divine pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That's what we see in the description of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Bhagavat. Devotees are maddened with so much happiness and pleasure, and divine ecstasy, bliss, while engaged in chanting, singing, holy names and love songs, and be dancing. They could not be staying in a normal, fixed way. Could not but be dancing because of the upsurge of blissful experience, upsurge of blissful experience of love of Krishna, love of Radhika, love of divine couple. Often with 8 kinds of divine love symptoms exhibited, being manifested throughout their body, whole form. That's what we see in the pastimes. In the pastimes, divine pastimes of Lord Chaitanya, Krishna sankirtan. That is the actual, that is the real. That is the real, actual Krishna sankirtan. That's the highest quality. How to say? That's the most covetably, most desirably real Krishna Sankirtana, pure Krishna Sankirtana activity. What was manifested during the lifetime, the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya, and that's yearned after by the devotees. And when we hear and read so much glories around about chanting and singing of the holy names of Krishna throughout the scriptures, it indicates, it connects to that real experience as found in the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya, as found in the Sankirtan activities of Lord Krishna Chaitanya Dev. Go.